Okay, so now we are going to do our third unit, which is procurement to pay and vendor relationship management. No matter which unit I teach, and no matter how big or small it is, you will have to study everything. If we want to achieve the goal we have set for the exam, remember, the goal is 70 plus. Alright, so what is this about procurement to pay? What does procurement mean? Just think for yourself. Try to come up with a basic, common sense meaning. What does procurement mean? Procurement means buying. To pay in this context means from purchasing to making the payment to the other party. And vendor relationship management, do you understand what a vendor is? The people from whom we buy any goods are called vendors, and how to maintain a relationship with them is called vendor relationship management. So we have procure to pay, procure to pay. What is procure to pay? We have procure to pay. What is procure to pay exactly? In simple terms, procure to pay is the end-to-end process that starts with a purchase request and continues through to the payment made to the supplier. This process includes several steps such as creating purchase orders, receiving goods or services, and finally completing the payment transaction. Whatever needs to be written, we will write it in the book right now, only in the book. Alright, what is the benefit of this? The benefit of this is ultimately vendor relationship management, which in turn helps in building value and reducing costs. It means that we might be able to get even more benefits from our supplier and our costs will also be reduced. Alright. Another name for this is purchase to pay process and procure to pay cycle. It means how an organization purchase raw materials and services needed to do the business. There are two functions connected in this. One is the purchase function and the other is the accounts payable function. Purchase plus accounts payable together make up procure to pay. See, it is written here that if you combine the procurement function and the accounts payable department, you get procure to pay. What is the benefit of this? It will help to build a better bottom line. What is bottom line? Bottom line means profit. Top line means sales, better profit. The benefit of this is that your relationship with the vendor improves, which helps you make better purchases. Buying power means you are able to negotiate. He does as you say because your relationship with him becomes better. Alright, now in P2P as well, it is initiated through a strong procurement plan which is supported by customer software. If you want, you can also manage everything by using customer software. Alright, a procurement plan is needed along with this. If you combine both the procurement plan and customer software, then the P2P process becomes efficient. Now, what is the procurement plan? What is a procurement plan? It is a detailed map that outlines the purchase procedure with contingencies. In this, just like when we study material costing and make purchases for items like raw materials, we plan our stock levels so that we never run out of stock. This ensures that stockouts do not happen. This is called a contingency. Planning for contingencies is also included in it. The basic objective is prevention of delay and stockout, and ultimately, there should not be over-purchasing either, so that wastage is avoided. Therefore, the purpose of the procurement plan is to prevent delays, avoid stockouts, and minimize wastage. What is the function of a procurement plan? It defines purchase order approval for each type of request and establishes workflows to minimize delay, wastage, and inefficiency. What is this doing? This is handling purchase order approval. What is it doing? From purchase order approval onwards, right. Then, for everything, it is defining what the workflow will be. Meaning, Workflow means what step-by-step process will be followed for approval, and even after that, what all steps will be there so that other workflows and further workflows. Workflow basically means the steps of doing the work, right, so that our objective of minimizing delay, waste, and inefficiency is achieved. With a well-established procurement plan, the emphasis on the supply chain is substantially reduced. Your dependency on the supply chain decreases, meaning your dependency on the supplier also goes down. It won't be as the supplier wants, but rather as you want, and along with this, if you also manage vendor management. Vendor management and vendor relationship management make the P2P process even better. Now, let's see why we need to maintain a relationship with the vendor. We need to maintain it so that we can carry out all our work properly. For example, if this is our factory, alright, if this is our factory and let's say this is the vendor, then all the steps involved in bringing goods from the vendor till the payment is made to the vendor. This entire thing is the P2P process. Alright, and in all of this, see, the vendor is actually a person. It's a company. But behind the company, there is a person, so it's important to build a relationship with them, so that they give you priority. This is called building up interaction. If you are building up interaction, involving them and also understanding their requirements. If you are making them your partner in some way, taking suggestions from them, then this is what we call relationship management. Vendor relationship management, so here, all these steps are called workflows. If you create this workflow, what benefit will you get from it? By doing all this, by doing both and by doing VRM, what benefit will you get? The cost will be minimized. Alright, it is written here, benefits. What all benefits will there be? Buying power will be maximized, the bottom line will improve, waste will be minimized, delays will reduce, and stockouts will be eliminated. Okay, now everything is clear to you. Because of this, our dependency on the supply chain has reduced. Basically, supply chain means our dependency on the vendor has reduced. For now, just understand this much. P2P compares three primary perspectives which are organized in a loop. There are three perspectives in this which keep running in a loop. That means these functions keep getting executed continuously. So, what are these three perspectives? First, it says the purchase order will come, then comes the receiving process. That means after you place the purchase order, the goods arrive at your place, and even after receiving them, the work is not finished. If you want to maintain good relations with vendors, it is your responsibility to ensure invoicing is processed on time. Previously, the department handling purchases would often just receive the goods and that was it. He would purchase it and leave it. They were not even concerned with receiving. Then their scope increased, brother, at least check if what you bought has been received. After that, their scope grew again, also check if the accounts department has paid. Otherwise, the vendor relationship suffers. The purchase person talks to the vendor, then chases accounts for payment. Accounts may stream. People in accounts are stubborn. People in accounts work in anger. They are under a lot of pressure because of compliance, this deadline, that deadline. So if they talk to anyone, they end up spoiling the whole relationship. In any company, the golden rule, if you are already doing an internship or are going to work somewhere, is to always make sure that the accounts people have absolutely no interaction with customers or suppliers. If this happens, both the supplier and the customer will end up being upset. Because when these people are hired, the accounts people, they are selected based on their accounting skills. They are not hired for their communication skills. Alright, but when it comes to hiring people for purchase and sales, they are chosen for their communication skills. Their other skills are not as important. They are hired for their networking skills, for their ability to communicate. The accounts people don't have these kinds of skills. They have the skill to do their work. They are happy just understanding technical things. It means they lose their softness as they are not used to talking much with other people. So, in the company where this problem was happening, a system was put in place that, brother, remove these people and let the purchase team talk to the suppliers and the sales team talk to the customers instead of the accounting people. Understood? Or else, hire another person for this. Many companies say that the purchase team gets busy talking to the accounts people, so the actual purchase work doesn't get done. It gets delayed unnecessarily. So, in purchase, many companies have created a vendor relationship manager or vendor relationship executive along with the purchase team. Similarly, with the sales team, they have appointed a customer relationship executive. The idea is that the salesperson should remain focused on sales, otherwise if he starts talking to the accounts team about bills and all, then the sales work will get delayed. So, they appoint a vendor relationship executive. Some companies have appointed a sales relationship executive as well. Alright, although that hasn't been mentioned here. I am giving you practical knowledge here, and you know, this kind of knowledge is actually very valuable. It's more valuable than the knowledge you get from books because in the real world, many companies are facing these kinds of issues, alright. Now, if you go and try to give this knowledge in a company, maybe the company owner or HR won't even listen to you because even to share knowledge, you need to have a certain level. If you call me and pay my fees, then they will take my knowledge. But if you just call me like that and I say something, then maybe even they won't listen. Very few companies are there that will listen to a novice as well. Normally, people listen more when they have paid money. So if you introduce me in your company as, Sir, he is a consultant. He has also been our guru, our teacher. Please take his advice on how to bring improvement in the company. Alright, then I will come. I will charge a few lakhs as my fee, and when the company pays me the fee, they will listen to everything I say, and magically, there will be a transformation there, and I will keep coming like this. If I just give such knowledge for free, then no one will listen to me, no one will implement it. You understand, right? That's how the magic happens. Anyway, the rest of it was not a joke. The truth is, you can invite me to your company. I will charge a fee. Okay. So anyway, did you understand what I said? That here we have created 3 phases and what all work is there in the purchase order. Now see, the first thing here is that you have to receive the purchase request. First, we check it, review it, then secondly, we select the vendor. Out of all the vendors, which one is the best? Selection of vendor, and then after evaluating, we give the best price and terms and issue the purchase order. So, it ends at the purchase order. Alright, the process does not start from the purchase order. What happens in the receiving process? When the goods are received at our place, we do GST and e-way bill verification. Alright, and if any other documents have come, we review all of them as well. Other documents, like in case of any imports, we review all those too to check whether everything is in order or not. And what happens in the invoicing process? You will have to reconcile all the documents. What will we reconcile? Mainly the purchase requisition. GSTN. What was the purchase order? Whatever it was, everything will be reconciled and only after that, the payment will be made. Understood? So these are the 3 perspectives of our P2P process. The flow of P2P has been shown here again. If you pay attention, after breaking it down, first comes the issue of purchase requisition. Then comes vendor selection. If the issue purchase order arrives, then what happens to these 3 together? This becomes the purchase order phase. Then comes the logging of various documents related to the P2P process. Receipt verification and reconciliation of invoice, so this moves to invoicing. This is our second step, which is receiving, and both of these have come here. After reconciliation, accounts payable has to be done, meaning this comes under invoicing. If you understand this has been broken down, you can remember it as you like, but you will have to remember this and it's easy. Just remember it, okay. Write your way, it might work. 3 to 5, how many points? 3 to 5 to 7. You will definitely write 5 because you only need to understand this once. There's no need to understand it again. Okay. Now, the same thing has been repeated again. If you want, you can read it. Otherwise, there's not much need to read it. Next, let's come to vendor relationship management. Look at this. First understand it completely and then we will write it down at our own pace. So, vendor relationship management. Basically, if you are asked to define it, what is it? So, to define it, we would say that it is a process where we develop long-standing relationships with vendors so that mutual trust is built between both parties and both can benefit mutually. The aim is to create both mutual benefit and mutual trust and to establish long-term relationships with vendors. Keep these keywords in mind. Long-standing relationship, mutual trust, and mutual benefit. Both should be there. Alright, now how do we implement this? I told you, if companies think that the purchase manager will handle this, then yes, the purchase manager will do it, but he will also keep building his own house. He will keep buying cars, accepting gifts, and will keep getting goods supplied to you from the wrong vendors. Just like it happens in most bureaucratic organizations, he takes a cut and gets your order placed. And where you fail to impress him, he raises a complaint against you and gets your order cancelled. Many times it happens that he creates such a bad reputation for you that you are not able to work with anyone else either. We have such a friend who supplies tea base to Indian Railways. So, the people in Indian Railways also work in this same system and sometimes their mood changes. There, the purchase managers are often transferred, especially those in the purchase department. If you fail to impress them, they will immediately issue such a report, and once it goes into the public domain, it becomes difficult for your goods to be sold elsewhere as well. This is the kind of problem there. Why does this problem exist? Because the purchase manager has been put forward to build relationships. Alright, so if the purchase manager is the one building relationships, this is bound to happen. In government, sometimes they even keep a squad for this purpose. The quality check squad is separate. Someone will suddenly come, do the checking, and then file a complaint. Then you have to impress him. In government, it's all about impressing people. But if we set aside the government sector for a moment, what we want to say is that if you truly want to manage vendor relationships, then it shouldn't be left in the hands of the purchase manager. The responsibility should come into the hands of a separate person who is in charge of this particular relationship management, right? There should be a separate team for this. There should be a separate person as well. Only then will this work properly. Or, as the Japanese theory says, use technology to deal with them. There is no need for a separate person either. Technology will maintain the relationship. If you understand, there is such a technology inspired by the Japanese concept, which Ford Motor Company developed and then made it usable for the public and for every company as well. Anyone can use it. The name of that software is Covisint. To be precise, Covisint is actually a company, Covisint Technology, which developed this software for vendor relationship management. For example, if there is a company that manufactures cars and suppose a car requires 10,000 pieces of equipment, 10,000 parts. Now, if you have to order 10,000 parts, there are 300 vendors. So, if tomorrow an order comes in to make 25 such cars, then how many parts need to be ordered and by when will they be made? According to that, on which date, who has to deliver what? All of that is just entered into the software that the car needs to be made by this date, and after calculating everything, it individually informs everyone about what they need to deliver. So, such software is maintaining the relationship with the vendors. You don't even need a person for that. The purchase manager's job is simply to identify the right vendor and just make a contract with them. After that, the purchase manager goes off to find another vendor. They buy goods from different countries. Many times, the car manufacturing company is buying from just one country. It's not necessary that they are buying from multiple countries. Just think, Apple's phones are made in China, but its parts come from all over the world. So what does Apple's purchase manager do? He keeps traveling around the world. He looks for the right vendor. Whose factory will do our work, meaning from whose factory will our parts come. That is more important for us. To build relationships with vendors, they use their own software. No personal contact is needed for everything. It's not necessary. They work with limited manpower, which is why they can run things corruption-free. But corruption is possible there as well. We don't know right now whether it actually happens there or not. But it's possible there as well. It depends on the purchase manager. Corruption is somewhat dependent on the person as well, isn't it? What can the company do? Many times, corruption can still happen in many places, even if the whole system is in place. Anyway, that's a completely different aspect altogether. What I'm trying to explain is that to implement this, we need an executive and software. Now, if there is a relationship, you will have to execute that relationship. Relationship means you have to give something, after all. If you get something from the other person, what will you give in return? We will give them timely information. We will make timely payments to them. Alright, what is the usual issue with vendors? They say, you people inform us at the last moment. Then you make it an emergency. You people never place the order on time. We have to turn their complaints into communication. Alright, what will their complaint be? Payments are not received on time. Payments get deducted. So, they should get full payment and that too on time. Their problem is solved, and what is your issue? That they deliver to you on time. Do to priority deliveries at the best rate and he will do it for you too. So, you do it for them and they will do it for you. It's simple, that's the relationship. Relationship doesn't mean you have to attend birthdays, anniversaries, kids' parties, weddings, and all that. Relationship is just about having proper two-way communication. He should get what he wants and you should get what you want. Understood? If this keeps happening consistently, you build a long-term relationship with a vendor. We can then give ideas to the vendor on how they can further improve production so they can make better quality at lower cost and give us the best price. We go and help the vendor. This is a Japanese system where we help them understand how to do production so their cost comes down, quality improves, and ultimately, we also benefit. In the same way, the vendor also comes to us and shares their knowledge, explaining how, by using their product, we can make our own product in a way that improves our quality and helps us get better customer response as well. So you see, this is how a strategic partnership is built up, which is the outcome of vendor relationship management. So, in vendor relationship management, one of the most important things is that a strategic partnership should be created. If this is not created, then the vendor relationship cannot be considered successful. Strategic means long-term, so now you will study this whole thing. If you pay attention along with me, you will understand everything. So, what are we saying here? What are the benefits of vendor relationship? Cost efficiency will improve. Effectiveness means the final output that should come will be better. You will be able to deal with ever-changing technology. You will be able to perform better in competitiveness against better competition. What is the ultimate benefit of this? It is basically the start of a long-standing relationship, and the success of the organization depends a lot on the management of this process. Before and after signing the outsourcing contract. Outsourcing contract means before selecting the vendor you are getting the work done from, whatever discussions you have with them are also very important. Once the outsourcing contract is signed, it means you have entered into a contract with them. Now, after they start working with you, how you deal with them continuously is also very important. So, both the before and after aspects are important so that a long-term standing relationship can be built. Now, after this, it is being explained here that there is a definition of vendor relationship management, which is it entails coordination to control costs, drive service excellence, mitigate risk, and increase value from their vendors throughout the deal life cycle. What does this mean? Cost control is clear. The cost will not increase. Unnecessary service excellence will improve. It means we will be able to provide service to our customers more quickly. Service excellence means for the customer. Then what is mitigate risk? Interpretation of mitigate. Many times, vendors are such that they supply us with the wrong items or cause delays. So, because of vendors, we can incur losses. There is idle time in our plant. If our finished goods turn out to be of poor quality, then our business will be affected, right? So, to mitigate that, we put a penalty clause on the vendors. This is called mitigation of risk. It depends on what terms you set when you are selecting the vendor for the first time. That's why it is written that work is there both before and after. Afterwards, we will place the order with them. But what about before? Selecting the right vendor and including all these terms and conditions in the contract with them is the right approach. What does throughout the deal life cycle mean? For example, from experience we know that when we work with vendors, we work with a vendor for a certain period of time. So throughout that entire period, if we are able to get all the benefits as we expect, that is what is called vendor relationship management. So, if we break down this definition, the following aspects come out. So, what are the aspects that come out? First of all, it is very important to select the right vendor. After that, categorize them based on some metrics and relationships. You need to see whether the contract with them has been done properly or not. Alright, normally there is less concern in small jobs. In those cases, there isn't much about contracts and all. Big factories have to think about all these contracts and so on. So I gave an example of categorization, like you used to study an analysis called GOLF in your intermediate classes, through which vendor categorization can be done. G for government supplier, O for ordinary, L for local, and F for foreign supplier. So, I just gave an example that you can categorize in this way as well. Many times, you create your own scoring model, right? Using that scoring model, you can categorize as well. Scoring model means you will have to make something like, if a vendor has so many years of experience, then he gets 5 points, and if the vendor has ISO registration, then he gets another 5 points. Then, the vendor's machinery. If all of that is from the last 3 years, then he gets another 5 points. Understood? So in this way, you can set the scoring according to your categories and criteria, and based on the score, you can see which vendor falls within which range, and accordingly, you can set your scoring model. Then what is said? Determine the ideal number of vendors. What needs to be determined? Don't work with too few vendors out of a large number of vendors. Work with a limited number of vendors and don't rely on just one vendor either. Mitigate risk by including penalty clauses and establish a vendor management organization that best fits the enterprise. What does vendor management organization mean? All the best practices for vendor management, that is, everything you can follow as best practice, whether through software, manually, maybe only through a purchase manager, or maybe through a separate team, are what is meant by a vendor management organization. You have to set it up according to your organization and resources. Alright, so if you are asked in the exam to define vendor relationship management, you can mention this as well. You have to build a long-term relationship that brings mutual trust and benefits, or you can give this definition or even mention both. So, if you write this definition, you will have to explain it. It is a discipline that enables organizations to control costs, achieve efficiency, achieve service excellence, and mitigate risks to gain increased value from vendors throughout the life cycle. So, this one is a bit heavier. But you can remember this and give your answer. Then you will be asked, what are the aspects? So, for aspects, you will have to write 5 points. Select the right vendor categories, then identify the ideal number of vendors, mitigate risks, and then put a vendor management organization in place. Alright, so what is the ultimate aim? Build stronger and successful relationships with the suppliers of goods and service providers. Not just raw materials, but any other kind of services you get, you will have better relationships with all of them. Alright, it facilitates focusing on the delivery of quality products and services at the right time. Yes, when things arrive at the right time, value is created. The main thing is, you will start getting things at the right time, and of course, you will get good quality as well. Quality will also improve, and this will reduce costs too. When the cost goes down, there's a good term for it, improves total cost of ownership, meaning costs decrease and data flows smoothly. Smooth data flow means, for example, you know exactly when something will arrive. Like I mentioned with Covisint software, it's also available to suppliers so they can input when goods are dispatched. All this information is visible to the company that placed the order, showing when and where goods are arriving and their current location. Throughout the process, the flow of information should be proper, so that the vendor also gives us all the correct details and we too inform the vendor about all our requirements accurately and in a timely manner. Alright, then in this percentage, it is simply mentioned what is the difference between vendor relationship management and supplier relationship management. One common thing in both is that you focus a lot on selecting vendors. This is the common thing in both, and that you do by evaluating several vendors, not just selecting the one you like. The focus of vendor relationship management is that we want to develop strategic partnerships. We want to develop long-term standing. Supplier relationship management. When the term was used, there wasn't much focus on long-term standing. There wasn't any focus on strategic partnership either. What I mean by strategic partnership is that you share knowledge with the vendor in such a way that you can even give them advice. They can give you advice, and in the future, processes keep coming in that improve quality and reduce costs. What is the difference between a vendor and a supplier? Normally supplier. The word raw material related has become more famous. According to the way we use the term, as we say, a vendor can be of any type. If someone supplies labor to you, they are also a vendor. If someone supplies technology, they are also a vendor. If someone supplies marketing media, they are also a vendor. So, when you are thinking about relationships with all of them, vendor relationship management covers a large ambit, and above that is supply chain management. Supply chain management will be our next unit. There are even more aspects in that. One aspect of that is vendor relationship management. Now you must have understood the entire vendor relationship management. You can note all of this down by pausing the video wherever I have marked or written something. Alright, so I think in the exam, the question will come, what is the relationship? What are the aspects? What are the benefits? What is the relation with supply chain management? Any of these could be asked. If you are asked about the benefits, what will you say? Benefits. Yes, these are the benefits of vendor relationship management. So you will mention these benefits. You will mention these aspects. By stating these aspects, you can mark that you will audit based on the aspects. So just copy this completely. But after that, you remember what you have to do, right? Now for example, one unit is finished. The next unit is coming. You have to make a summary. If you don't make the summary now, the work won't get done. You people, right? You are very careless when it comes to making summaries. But you have to make the summary. A recurrence pay and vendor relationship management. See, nothing will stay in your mind unless you write it by hand. The brain doesn't work otherwise. Goddess Saraswati says, "My child, until you write with your own hand, I will not come into your heart." That means, I won't settle in your mind. so it's very important that you write everything by hand. That's why just marking there won't be enough. When you give the heading P2P, then what all headings will come under P2P? See P2P. Here, what is P2P is coming. It is written, what is P2P process? It is also referred to as purchase to pay process. The P2P cycle is how an organization purchases the materials and services to do the business. Alright, then if you have to write about it in detail, it provides a linkage between procurement and accounts payable. Then, what are its benefits? Its benefits include better profit. What else? Better vendor relationship. What else? Maximizing buying power, and how to initiate this procurement plan is needed, and if customized software is required, then those requirements come in. Alright, what is the procurement plan? In requirements, this is 1, this is 2. Then further, what is the procurement plan? What is a procurement plan? So what exactly is a procurement plan? It is a detailed map that outlines everything. A purchase procedure with contingencies. What is its benefit? Prevention of delays, stockouts, and minimizing waste. Alright, so what does a procurement plan do? Define the purchase order approval process for each type of request. How will the purchase order be created? Alright, establish the workflow. What will be the steps involved so that your waste is reduced and delays are minimized? Then there are 3 perspectives, so you have to write these points accordingly. Here, as I told you, according to that, what is P2P? In this way, when you write what will be mentioned in it, then you will write its benefits, that is, what are its benefits. After that, what are its requirements? There are 2 requirements, procurement plan and customized software. Alright, then what will you write next? What is a procurement plan? So, whatever is written here about the procurement plan, you will write that down. Then you will write about its benefits. What are the benefits of a procurement plan? Alright, then what needs to be done? Then you have to take the 3 perspectives of P2P. You have to make a complete chart of those 3 perspectives. Just like I made it, you have to use all these points and prepare your own notes. You might say, Sir, this is taking too much time. If I start making it, it will never get finished. Then it's better to spend those 6 months making the attempt, because otherwise you won't remember anything and you won't be able to revise that much the day before the exam. Even if you do revise, you won't be able to understand the sequence. Should I write it down? If you've understood, then what is P2P? I've marked this paragraph for you. From here to here, this part is covered. Then I've marked the benefits. For you, it does not provide linkage.
From here to here, your what is P2P is covered.
Up to the linkage between 2 departments. I've explained the benefits, 3 in total, covered in the requirements. To requirements, procurement plan and custom software. I've explained what a procurement plan is and what its benefits are. Then the 3 perspectives have already been drawn and given. You can also draw and make the P2P yourself. Understood? Brother, you will have to put in the effort. If you show me your hard work, even I will feel motivated that you are truly my promising student and I should work even harder for you. Coming up with all these ideas is also hard work, isn't it? So, in this as well, the question will come, what is vendor relationship management? You need its definition. I wrote one for you and another is given there by Gartner. You should write both of them down. Write both definition 1 and definition 2. Then, write down what its benefits are. After that, write what its 5 aspects are, all right. Then you should write in the same way I have written about supply chain management and all. Write down what are the impactful things or basically what is the meaning in supply chain management, supplier relationship management, and vendor relationship management. I told you about Covishield for your knowledge and mentioned vendor and supplier for your understanding. You might not be able to do it right away, but you will manage. You are a final year student pursuing a cost accountant degree, which is like a master's. You are a graduate or about to become one. What's so difficult about that? You'll have to learn at least this much. Even small kids manage. These days, if you give a hint to students in class 5 or 6, they can write the whole book. You won't be able to do it. How is that even possible? Come on, go and do it, mark everything properly and fill it in. Then start the next unit and write, see you.